In the bustling heart of Sydney's luxury shopping district, where gleaming storefronts beckon with promises of exclusivity and opulence, country music sensation Jelly Roll encountered a stark reminder of the shadows that linger from one's past. The 40-year-old artist, whose raw lyrics and thunderous voice have propelled him from underground mixtapes to arena-filling tours, found himself at the center of an uncomfortable retail encounter at a Louis Vuitton outlet. What began as a simple attempt at retail therapy amid his Australian tour spiraled into a public airing of grievances, as Jelly Roll took to his Instagram stories to decry the treatment he received, likening it to being eyed as a potential thief. With a mix of incredulous laughter and pointed candor, Jelly Roll, born Jason Bradley DeFord in the gritty landscapes of Nashville, captured the moment outside the boutique, his voice carrying the weight of lived experience. "Hey man, the Louis Vuitton in Sydney legitimately just treated us like we were finna come in and rob that place," he recounted, the southern drawl infusing his words with both humor and hurt. He paused, the camera shaking slightly as he processed the sting before adding, "I have never been looked at more like a crim. Listen, the last time I was looked at like a criminal this bad, I was an actual criminal this bad." It was a line delivered with the punch of one of his own songs, blending vulnerability with defiance, a hallmark of his artistry that resonates with fans who see their own struggles reflected in his music. This incident isn't isolated. It's a thread in the larger tapestry of Jelly Roll's journey, a narrative marked by redemption and the persistent pull of history. Long before the chart-topping success of tracks like "Save Me," which earned him a Grammy nomination and introduced his gravelly pleas for salvation to mainstream audiences, Jelly Roll's life was defined by a cycle of arrests. Over 40 since the tender age of 16, all tied to drug-related charges in the underbelly of Tennessee's music scene. Those years were a haze of poor choices and survival instincts, where selling pills became a means to an end in a world that offered few alternatives to a kid from Antioch. He spent time behind bars, emerging each time with scars that shaped his worldview, turning pain into poetry that now fills stadiums. Yet, Jelly Roll has never shied away from this chapter. Instead, he's wielded it like a badge, transforming incarceration tales into anthems of hope. His candor has endeared him to millions, particularly those navigating recovery or societal stigma. In a revealing interview with rock legend Jon Bon Jovi for Interview magazine the previous year, he delved into the ironies of his rising fame. "It's funny, America has finally agreed to let me leave and give me a passport, but some countries won't let me come because of my felonies," he shared, a wry smile masking the frustration of bureaucratic hurdles. "We're working on that. I think it's going to work in my favor." That optimism proved prescient. By this year he had conquered Europe alongside Post Malone, trading barbed wire fences for festival stages, his felonies no longer a barrier but a backstory that adds depth to his performances. The Louis Vuitton episode then cuts deeper because it pierces the armor he's built through therapy, sobriety, and sold-out shows. As he tours Australia, his first international jaunt without legal encumbrances, the contrast is jarring. A man whose net worth now rivals the price tags in that very store, yet still reduced to suspicion based on appearance. Jelly Roll's look, tattoos snaking across his arms, a burly frame honed by life's battles rather than gym routines, and an unapologetic embrace of his roots, challenges the polished archetype of luxury consumers. It's a microcosm of broader conversations about class, race, and redemption in consumer spaces, where high-end brands often curate an image of untouchable refinement inadvertently or not, excluding those who don't fit the mold. Reflecting on his remorse, Jelly Roll has often framed his younger self with compassion rather than judgment. In a 2023 conversation with Billboard, he articulated this nuance poignantly: "This is a grown man looking back at a 16-year-old kid that made the worst decision he could have made in life." It's a perspective born of hard-won wisdom, one that informs his advocacy for mental health and addiction recovery. Through his beautifully broken tour and partnerships with organizations like Shatterproof, he channels that energy into tangible change, funding rehab programs and destigmatizing the felon label. His marriage to Bunny XO, a fellow survivor of the Nashville nightlife, further anchors this growth, their podcaster dynamic a beacon for unconventional love stories. The fallout from the Sydney incident has already sparked a wave of support online, with fans flooding his comments with stories of similar profiling, turning a personal slight into a collective rallying cry. Louis Vuitton, known for its monogrammed legacy and celebrity endorsements from the likes of Pharrell Williams, has yet to respond publicly, but the optics are poor in an era where inclusivity is currency. For Jelly Roll, it's fuel for his next verse, perhaps a track about the gaze that lingers, the judgment that judges wrong, and the triumph of rising above. Ultimately, this moment underscores Jelly Roll's unyielding authenticity. From hawking CDs at traffic lights to headlining Coachella-adjacent bills, his path defies the rags to riches cliché by emphasizing the rags as integral to the riches. As he continues his Australian sojourn, belting out choruses of forgiveness to adoring crowds, one senses he's already alchemizing this hurt into art. In a world quick to criminalize the past, Jelly Roll reminds us that true luxury lies not in leather goods, but in the grace to forgive oneself, and demand the same from others.